What I'm going to talk about today is going to be a social media strategy to increase your engagement and increase your audience, and ultimately to increase your impact and your income. And then I want to talk about launches as well. So the first part is how to increase your audience and boost engagement. And it's two different strategies. Most people have a content strategy, but they forget about a growth strategy. So a content strategy is knowing the kind of content you want to create, how often you want to post out that kind of content, how often you want to post, what kind of content you want to create. But what people forget to add is a growth strategy. So the growth strategy is basically how as many eyes can see your content as possible. So let's start with the content strategy. So now that you know your ideal client avatar, I want you to ask yourself this question: what does my ideal client avatar need to see or know that would draw the person closer from their urgent needs to their compelling desires? So what would draw them closer from their pain points to their solutions? What would draw them closer from their fears to their desires? And look at it in that broad aspect. So let's say your business is branding and marketing. So you ask yourself, what will my ideal client avatar need to see or to hear today? Or let's say it's health and fitness. What do they need to see today or hear today that would move them from point A to point B? So let's say, like I said, health and fitness. Maybe it's just a message of motivation that you can do it, that missing one day at the gym doesn't mean you've fallen off the wagon, or that the fact that you ate a burger today doesn't mean you're hopeless, or something like that. Whatever it is, I just want you to put yourself in the shoes of your ideal client avatar. And that's why I was so passionate about that topic, and that's why it was so important that you niched it down as much as possible. Because if you know your ideal client avatar through and through, it'll be easy for you to know what they need to hear or what they need to see. It'll be easy for you to know what their burning desires and their urgent needs are. And then it'll also be easier for you to create a product or service that would actually fulfill or satisfy or solve that problem. So once you've asked yourself that question, what is one thing that my ideal client has to see or hear today that will move them from point A to point B? I want you to write down everything that comes to mind. So maybe like the fitness example that I made, maybe confidence, or maybe eating healthy, or maybe your environment, whatever it is, just be as broad as possible. And when you've got that, I want you to break them down into topics. So let's say you answer that question and you got 20 different ideas. Most likely, some of the ideas will be related. So group all the related ideas into topics. And then when you've grouped all the related ideas into topics, I want you to create captions for them. So I believe in meaningful captions. If you've read any of our content, you know our captions are very motivational, very, very inspirational, because that is what I think my ideal client avatar needs to hear. I think they need to hear that their dreams are possible. I think they need to hear that life is hard, but the fact that it's hard doesn't mean it's impossible. I think they need to be motivated to believe that they have unlimited greatness and potential in them. I think it's important for them to remember that maybe you had a bad day yesterday, but you can still create a masterpiece today. So I want you to create captions out of the topics you have. And once you've created captions, I want you to, based on those captions and the topics, I want you to create other content. So a tip I would give you is, depending on your space, but right now research shows that a lot of people gravitate more towards video than written words. So if you can and you're not shy of the camera, if your industry is one that is conducive for video, one way you can create content that would actually help you and help your audience is to create long form content. So let's say a video or a carousel post if you're using Instagram. So let's say you have a video, you can record a video once a week, and with that video, if you have other avenues, maybe you have a YouTube channel, you have a podcast, you can use the audio for the podcast. If you have a blog, you can transcribe that or video and put it on the blog, or you can use that transcription as an article. If you have a YouTube channel, you can post that video on your YouTube channel, and then you can chop it up into smaller bits for your social media. You can get quotes from the transcribed words, and that is a longer form of content that you have used in a very broad way. So you've basically maximized the use of that content. So once you've created long form content, so like I said, it can be reels, it can be IGTVs, it can be videos, it can be carousel posts, but also I want you to look at your insights. Look at the kinds of content that when you put out, you get more engagement. By engagement, I mean likes, comments, saves, and shares. Which kinds of content do you get more of those from? So when you realize which kinds of content you get more engagement with, then you create more of that content. But now that you're starting out, you might not know which kind of content to create. So I would advise you create a mix of content. So maybe videos, photos, quotes, reels, IGTVs, go online when you can, and little things like that. And after maybe a month, view your insights, see which kind of content are getting the most interaction, which kind of content are getting the most engagement, and then you do more of those content. Then also, I know there are a lot of people who say post 3 times a day, post 4 times a day, post 5 times a day. It all depends, I believe, on you and your schedule. How much can you post? How often can you post authentic, quality content? So it's not necessarily about the quantity, it's more about the quality, because so many people are fixated on posting a certain number of times during the day that they dilute the quality of their content. But I want you to focus on the quality as opposed to the quantity. If it's only once a day that you can produce quality content, that's fine. If you can produce quality content 3 times a day, that's absolutely fine. And a way to produce quality content, more of quality content over the day, is like the question I asked you: what does your ideal client avatar need to hear or see today? Once you've got all that, you can turn all those answers into content. And one thing I've realized with most people is that they can create the content, but sometimes even posting it is a problem. So you can use an app like Hootsuite or Later, or there's so many apps right now that can actually schedule your social media posts for you. So once you just create them, you can just take one day in a month, sit down, ask yourself that question: what does my ideal client's avatar need to see or hear this month? And then come up with the ideas, group them into topics, create captions for them, and create content from them. And then you can just schedule it and let it be on autopilot so you can focus on the other things in your business. And then, like I said, always look at your insights. You want to make analytical decisions. You want to make decisions as an entrepreneur based on data and not emotions. So look at your insights, look at which kinds of content are getting more engagement, look at which kinds of content are increasing your audience or increasing your message, and then create more of that content. So that is the content strategy. And like I said, that's why it's so important to know your ideal client avatar, because knowing your ideal client avatar helps you to create content that is meaningful to them. It helps you to create content that resonates with them. It helps you to create content that is actually making an impact and helping to solve a problem that they have. But if you don't know them, you don't know what their problem is, you don't know what their desires are, then you're just creating content in the blue, and that is very difficult to move the needle. It's very difficult to make an impact as a business or as a brand. So know your ideal client avatar, and every time you're creating content, have them at the back of your mind. Think about them. A woman who is maybe 34, married, 2 kids, she wants to be able to pay off her mortgage and be able to send her kids off to school. A woman like that, what will she need to hear? What is her problem? What else keeps her up at night? So what kind of solution can I offer to that? That goes hand in hand. So that is the content strategy. So for the growth strategy, how to get as many eyes seeing your content as possible. Number 1 is to create and post more of your content that gets the most engagement. Like I said, when you realize that maybe videos get more engagement, do more videos. Maybe reels get more engagement, do more reels. Maybe carousel posts get more engagement, do more carousel posts. And one thing I've realized is that most of the social media platforms actually reward content that lets people stay on the platforms for longer. So longer form content like IGTVs, like videos, like reels, anything that will make someone stay on the platform longer sort of favors the algorithm. So look at your insights, look at your analytics, and create more of the content that gets engagement. And then 2, you can create a referral program. And what do I mean by that? Maybe you have a couple of friends who are all entrepreneurs, who are all trying to grow their audience. You can come up with an idea that, okay, maybe when I make a post, I'll tag all of you in it. And then when I tag in it, you can go like, comment, share. And then when you make a post, tag me and all of us in it, and then we'll do the same for you. So the Instagram algorithm sort of picks up on likes, comments, and shares. So if you do that, then it's increasing the algorithm in your favor. Tip number 3 is to boost your posts. Sometimes when you post, you can see boost. I think there's an option like boost post, and to boost your post means to sort of propagate your content to more eyes, people that are not following you already, or people that are not in your audience already, and they get to see that. So boosting your post is a very good way of increasing your engagement, increasing awareness of your brand. Also, if you can partner with a brand or an influencer of your ideal client. So let's say you're in health and fitness. Partnering with someone who does music would not really translate into an increased engaged audience. But if you're into health and fitness, you can partner with maybe a health brand, or you can partner with a fitness influencer, or you can partner with a health coach, someone who is in line and in tune with what you offer. That would help you and help them as well. So it's a win-win situation for both of you. And giveaways. Giveaways are very popular these days, but most of the time they are based on vanity metrics. By vanity metrics, I mean like and share this post, or maybe number of likes, number of comments. I want you to do giveaways, but I want you to do giveaways that have meaning and impact. So maybe you're rewarding loyalty, maybe you're rewarding purchases, you're rewarding something that is of value and it's not just vanity. So giveaways is a very good way of boosting your engagement and increasing your engaged audience. So that's something you can also think of. And then the giveaway doesn't have to be just you. Can actually join other people. You can collaborate with other entrepreneurs in your space and then do a collaborative giveaway. So maybe you're giving away a coaching session, maybe a book, maybe a package, whatever it is. You can team up with other people. So you're all building your audience. And number 2, if it's sort of disburses the expenses, so to speak. So giveaways is a very good way of increasing your audience. So guys, that is it for growth strategies.